Hi, this is Tara, and you're tuned in to Tea Time with Tara. My guest on this episode is former model turned professional boxer Kate McLaren. She was born and raised in Essex, England, and now lives in Sydney, Australia, where she was trained by three-time world champion Jeff Fenech and made her pro boxing debut in December of 2021. We discuss her not-for-profit organization called It's Her, which she created to support young girls and women by supporting their mental health, encouraging healthy habits, as well as helping young girls and women in Australia who may be in crisis or in need in some way by connecting them with the appropriate resources. Right now, It's Her is focused on supporting young girls and women in Australia, but Kate does plan on expanding it globally in the future. We also spoke about her journey of becoming a professional boxer and how a little bit of kindness goes a long way. Please go follow It's Her and Kate on Instagram. The links will be in the show notes. Also, I do want to add that I apologize for the poor audio quality on my end. I realized after we wrapped that the studio defaulted to using my AirPods instead of my mic that was plugged in. And this was actually our second recording, so I wasn't going to make Kate go through this all again. The last time my audio was messed up because there's some sort of an issue with my mixer. Kate's audio is perfect. It's still a great chat, and I know someone will find a lot of what we discussed helpful. I know you're going to love it.
Hi, good morning, Kate.
Good morning, Tara. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Not too bad. It's pretty early here. It's 6:30 in the morning. I believe it's lunchtime where you are. Is that right?
Yes, I'm so glad that you made the time to do this first thing in the morning for you.
Oh, it's the best way to start the day if you ask me. So
Yeah.
thanks for
Aw.
having me.
Well, thanks for doing this again with me.
No dramas at all. No dramas.
All right, so let's just get right back into it. We talked about I didn't put my phone on silent. I apologize.
That's all right.
Okay.
No worries.
Um, Now it's on Do Not Disturb. I won't get called. Tell me about It's Her, because that's what your big thing is right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So, I've just started basically a not-for-profit charity, which is still at the moment, I'm still building, designing, creating all of that. But eventually, I will be, looking after my own not-for-profit organization called It's Her, which is basically an online support system for young females. So just to give you a bit of a rundown on what that kind of looks like is there's going to be on-demand fitness videos coming out each week for people to jump on, get active, and be able to do at home. Again, you don't need a lot of equipment, and most of the exercises on there are going to be body weight. Then we've got the real stories from real women, which is basically when I say real women, I'm not talking about, the people you see in the magazines giving
Mm.
you, the daily rundown or stories of their lives. We are literally going out into the community, interviewing, women who have come from some hardship in their life and finding their story and basically trying to figure to share how they've turned their life around and got themselves, onto the right path and become a massive success in their lives today, which, some of the stories that we've already got on there are extremely inspirational. So that is the motivational section on the It's Her platform. And then we have wellness on a budget. So anything to do with wellness, we've got all tips and tricks on there on things that you can do just to get your wellness and self-care in. So that's another section that we have on the platform. I'm then working with my wonderful nutrition that I work with when I'm in my fight camps. Obviously, I'm a pro boxer as well.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna ask you about that next.
okay. So on the nutrition section, I work with an incredible nutritionist. Her name is Jennifer May. She's from Sydney City Nutrition, and she is going to be taking care and looking after all of the nutrition for the It's Her platform. So there's going to be, recipes. There's going to be reasons why nutrition is so important. So there's going to be basically a whole section of all different videos that will be covering everything nutrition, which is absolutely so exciting. And
Fantastic, yeah.
it's beautiful, and honestly, we're so honored to have her a part of the platform. So that's the nutrition section. And then the reason on why and how I suppose It's Her has come about, the most important section for me is the section which is all about support. And I'm a female that originally is from the UK. I moved to Australia when I was in my teens, and support is so important.
Right.
And what I've wanted from the It's Her platform is to be able to create a library of multiple different support services and organizations and put it all sort of under that one umbrella so that, whoever it might be, yourself, myself, anyone who's listening or watching can jump on the It's Her platform. If they are needing that daily support in their lives, they can come onto here and we can basically help direct them to the right organization or the right support service for that person. So that's pretty much a rundown of It's Her.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to do this? I mean, other than your move, right? I mean, well, I guess it's been quite a time, right? How long have you been in Australia for now?
Yeah, I've been in Australia for about 12 years now.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's
So,
definitely
but
home
starting
to
your life
me.
over, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I left home around about the age of 19, and I'm 32 now. I've spent all of that time here in Australia. I have obviously gone home, visited family, and
Yeah.
traveled overseas and everything, but Australia is home for me.
Yeah.
And obviously, we had the pandemic come along, and I think it was a big realization that, a lot of people at that time were struggling with mental health. A lot of people were struggling with feeling isolated and alone
Yeah.
and not having support systems to hand. And unfortunately, I was one of those people at that time where,
Hmm.
I was, at my worst. If I'm going to be honest, I was going through a really, really tough time in my life,
Yeah.
and I was completely unsupported. And this is why I'm so passionate, and I've got so much desire to make It's Her, a massive success in the way of being able to support young females. I mean, like at the moment, it's predominantly just Australia that I'm targeting, but my
Hmm.
vision for this is to take it globally and to be able to get people all around the world to jump onto this support platform and be able to get and find the support that they need. So,
So beautiful. That's really wonderful. I love that you are a person that wants to pay it forward.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um, it's not a nice place for anyone, and
Yeah.
there is a lot of people who do feel unsupported, and they don't know where to get, the right information from, or they don't know what organizations are available. Since I've been
Yeah.
doing this and putting my research in myself, like there's organizations out there that are just absolutely fantastic that
Yeah.
I don't feel that anyone is aware that is even out there. So if
Yeah.
I can create some awareness behind this and show people, what support really is out there and what is available, then, why not?
Yeah. I think it's really important, especially because when you're in a really bad headspace, it can feel really overwhelming to have to do that kind of research, right? To
Absolutely.
have to be
You
digging through the
normally
internet, right?
100%. I read a study the other day. 1 in 10 Australians feel unsupported,
Mm,
and through being unsupported, a lot of Australians are suffering, and people all around the world are suffering with their mental health, and
yeah.
that is draining. And when you are that drained, that fatigued, and you mentally can't think straight day in, day out, or even have the energy to get yourself out of bed, the
Hmm.
last thing you can clearly think about is, how do I find help?
Right.
What's going to give me the momentum to jump online and to be able to have that help and support? And I
Yeah.
just want to make it easy for people. I want to have it all under that one umbrella. Like I said, I want to
Yeah.
have a library of support service so we don't have to think. We can literally go, okay, I'm really struggling with my mental health, or I'm feeling isolated, or X, Y, Z, whatever it may be. Jump
Yeah.
onto the It's Her platform and everything is there. We've
Yeah.
got it all there for you. You don't have to think.
Well,
So
yeah, I feel like we need that. The world needs that. So I'm so glad that you started it. Um, you said
thank
that
you,
you
Tara.
were in a really bad place um a couple of years ago, right? You said your lowest point. Whatever you're comfortable sharing, of course. Do you want to can you tell me about that a little bit and like your
Yeah,
journey with that?
absolutely. Obviously, I don't want to go into too much detail and
Of course,
everything,
yeah.
but yeah, look, I definitely was someone who, throughout my life, I had a very good upbringing. I was very close with my family, and I would like to say that my mental health has been great. But
Hmm.
then, there was a time in 2020 where all of that completely turned around for me, and
Yeah.
I suffered with mental health for the first time ever in my
Hmm.
life. And I was completely alone while doing it.
Yeah.
And I was, having problems with food. I had an eating disorder, and, mentally, I wasn't able to go to work. I was signed off with work and I was needing, counseling. And
Mm.
um, it was an extremely tough place,
Yeah.
to the point where I almost ended up in crisis accommodation. I wasn't able to get that much support from the government. In fact, any support from the government, because at the time I was actually working full time.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a thing over here called legal aid. So basically, if you're earning under a certain amount of money, then obviously the government will help support you. But I was in full time work at that point. I was
Right.
earning over that bracket. So there was
Okay.
no support available for me. But what I think the government hadn't taken into consideration was, I had lost everything at this
Right.
point. I'd blinked and my life had completely changed, and
Yeah.
everything had been taken from me, and I was left with zero, nothing.
Yeah.
And you know, to me as well, I'm talking money at the moment, and obviously being able to live and survive. But without your mental health as well, like, it's it's hard, and it's a horrible place. I don't wish it upon anyone.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm so aware how many people are struggling with this.
Hmm.
And the problem for me was, I had no support. COVID was here. My family couldn't come out here. I was laying in a hospital bed. The doctor asked me, what is your support system here in Australia? And right then at the time, I was embarrassed, and I didn't want to share what was going on. And I didn't want to
Yeah.
tell my friends the ins and outs of, you know, what was actually going on in my life. I
Yeah.
think I was just trying to cover everything with a facade. And then it wasn't
Yeah.
until my body broke down that I was like, oh gosh, I'm in a really, really terrible place right now.
Hmm.
And I don't have anyone here next to me, with me, or to support me.
Yeah.
So that is definitely where the passion comes from for It's Her, because it's 1 minute your life can be totally fine, going great, and you're on the right path to success. and the next minute you can blink and you can lose everything. And that be
So
in
true.
finance, that be in your health, that be in multiple things, right? You literally can blink and your life can change with the click of your fingers, just like that.
Hmm.
And none of us prepare for that. We're not prepared. And
Yes.
I just want to be able to help people. And
Hmm.
I know for yourself, Tara, you've gone through some hardship as well. Like before this interview, we've
Yeah.
spoken on and off a few times, and we've shared stories with each other. And I
Hmm.
think you'd agree with me, it's a really challenging, hard place to be. And it's
Oh,
lonely, right?
absolutely. It's so lonely. So I can go into that a little bit. I had to, I mean, this was a long time ago now. My son was a baby. He was 1.5. When I left his dad, I moved into a women's shelter and I had nothing. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a job. I was homeless. I had to leave my job because of the situation that I was in. And because I didn't, it was a mess. It was a complete disaster. It was the lowest point in my life, hands down. And at the time, also, my mom's mom, who was like another parent to me, and she was my person, was also in the hospital dying with cancer at the same time. And so it was like a few months of me being in that shelter. Um, she ultimately went to hospice and passed away while I was still living in that shelter. It was just, you know, rock bottom.
Yeah.
And it was so, I mean, I don't even know how many people know that I did that. I don't know. I mean, I know plenty of people, right? But I don't know if anybody knows that I was going through that other than my family, of
Mhm.
course. And they supported me how they could, but they weren't able to have me and my son live with them. Um, they couldn't financially support me in any way. So it is very lonely. To really emphasize that part, there's a lot of shame and loneliness. And
Yes.
I felt like guilt too about, oh my God, how could I do this to myself? How could I let this happen?
And I felt the same, exactly the
Hmm.
same. And it's almost like you're embarrassed to
Yeah.
tell people and to
Yeah.
share what is going on in your life. But we have to change that. And I think conversations just like this, we are helping to create that change in the world. Like these things do happen in life and they are
Mm.
uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And
It's a real
what did
shame.
you do, Tara? I mean, like, how did you turn it around? Would you put that down to mindset? You're obviously a very resilient person. You're in your beautiful apartment now. You've got your dog
Yeah,
and
thank
your
you.
baby,
Yeah. I think she's actually chewing her bone and I'm trying to get it away from her because it's so noisy.
and
No, go get another toy. Sorry. Um, I really, my son was my motivation. And so, I became a mom at 19, 20. I was pregnant at 19 and you're a child. You don't realize it at that age that you are a baby, but you're a baby at that age. And I didn't know anything about becoming a mom or what that was going to be like. And then he really gave me purpose. He he really like I can't even I feel like I'm gonna cry just thinking about how
I
much I
can,
love
I
him,
can,
you know?
I can see the emotions running through you right
Um,
now. It's
he is
beautiful.
just everything. He's everything. I didn't know that I could love another human being so much until I had my son. And he was really what motivated me. I was like, I can't fail him. I can't let him down. I cannot crumble in this. And so I really struggled for a couple of months. I I ended up moving in with my dad and stepmom at the time just to get out of the shelter, um, and to have a little bit more support. And then I started drinking too much. My son would go to bed and I would drink and I wouldn't sleep. And um, because I was trying to cope with the loss of, well, everything, right? But then also
Yep.
the loss of my Oma. And um,
You were numbing the pain.
oh yeah.
And that was something I did too.
Hmm.
And I will talk about that later, but this is how then
Yeah.
I got into boxing and things
Yeah.
changed. But
Yeah. So
anyway,
I mean I had, it was like I think I didn't sleep for like 3 days in a row or something like that. Um, and I finally broke down and let myself cry. And it was like the floodgates opened. I was able to cry, and then I was like, okay, I have to get my shit together. I can't, like I was saying before, I can't let this break me. And I have every reason in the world right here in my son to do everything I possibly can to make my life better and give him the life that he deserves despite what happened with his dad. And so it was very slow, very, very slow. But from my dad's house, I think I lived with them for like a couple of weeks until I got an apartment. But there were all these programs that I didn't know about that I ended up having to really research, and at the time it was like I think everybody had Blackberries. So the internet
oh yeah,
wasn't as the internet
the
wasn't as
internet wasn't
easily
as accessible. Yeah.
so
Oh, showing our age now.
so it was kind of like, what do I do? How do I get help? And eventually I got it like a voucher for my, I think it was my security deposit and first month rent for my apartment. I ended up finding a job and getting like I think it was a $500 car. Imagine what $500.
Well, I think I got the equivalent as well. So once I, started to get myself up on my feet, I
Mm,
couldn't even afford a car. I had a scooter, a little
mm,
moped scooter that I used to drive around in the pouring rain,
there you
whether it
go.
would be sunny or thunderstorms. Like that was my go-to. That was how I
Yeah,
was getting around, and it was $1,000 Australian, and that was
yeah.
all I could afford.
Hmm.
Five bucks a week on fuel, and yeah, so
Yeah,
I feel you there. I feel
yeah,
you there. And there should be no shame. No shame, because, this is what's made you this beautiful, strong, resilient woman today. And
thank you.
this is such an inspiring story. I think we need to get this on the It's Her platform as well. So,
Oh, I would love that. I would be such an honor because I do feel like my story is so relatable in some ways, and your story is relatable to other people. And so the more stories that
absolutely.
we share, the more people will realize that they're not alone, and that they, just because you
Absolutely.
hit that rock bottom doesn't mean that it's
We're a
over.
bad person, or yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And if
I
anyone
mean,
is listening and interested to share their stories, then definitely please reach out to me as well, or Tara, and hopefully we can get your story on the platform and help inspire and support,
yeah.
all of the young females and just women in general, or even men and women in general.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, definitely reach out if anyone is listening and would like to share their story with us.
Yeah, I'll be sharing the all of your info in the show notes so that people can connect with
Thank you,
you and
Tara.
connect with it's her, and
Thank you. And
also
I,
you.
I would like to just ask you,
Hmm.
what was your experience living in the shelter? I'm guessing that was a very daunting experience, and quite hard to process, I'm imagining. Like,
Oh yeah, it was awful. I mean, thankfully, because I had my son, I had a little bedroom to myself.
mhm,
Um, So I at least had a little bit of privacy, but there were, it was like there were all these people that had all this messed up stuff, and I was like, it almost felt like it was really humbling, to be completely honest, because I was like, I am here with these people who are also at their lowest. And um I thought that I would be better than that. I thought that and it's not like, it's hard to describe, but it's really, like I said, it was really humbling, because I was like, I'm not better than anybody.
That's
I'm
right.
not better
Bring
than anyone.
Yeah, brings us back down to earth, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
very easy to, get on the pedestal, I suppose, of like, you have a successful job and you're making a lot of money and you don't need to look at the price of things in life. And,
Mhm.
I was in a position where, my finances weren't really a drama for me. I had
Yeah.
property and, we had boats and bikes and everything, like financially, I was pretty set.
Mhm.
And then one morning I wake up and it's just like, oh God, I can't even buy myself a coffee.
Mhm.
Um, and it's definitely a humbling experience. And you know what, Tara, I wouldn't change it because it has made
Yeah.
me who I am today. And, you know, for me, I feel like I'm put on this earth to try and help support people and, give back as much as I can to the people in need. And we're only human beings, right? We all
Yeah.
need support. We all need interaction. And especially the way technology is going at the moment for these young girls, I'm noticing that, they're so in their phones.
Yeah.
And as a human being, we need interaction. And
Yeah.
there is getting less and less and less of this. And the reason I do go out to the community and I run programs is because I want these youngsters to understand that you need to interact, you need to engage with each other, you need to be able to look someone in the eye when you're speaking to them and
Mhm.
connect with them rather than just a phone and your head down like this all the time and
Right.
not knowing sort of how to piece a conversation together because everything now is just music, videos, and we're social people.
Yeah.
We were put on this earth to to harvest the fields and to collect the water, and over time we're losing all of that, and we're so just in our set in our ways of now working from home is the most normal thing.
Yeah.
Turn back a few years ago, we would have to get into the office somehow, into the city. We'd have to get
Mhm.
up, we'd have to move. And as much as, like technology is taking over um, on my wrist as well, I do love this because I do think that the watch holds me accountable to be moving, to be
Yes.
active, to get out. And anyone who is struggling with that sort of social interaction, that doesn't like leaving their house, that struggles to get out of bed, I do recommend get yourselves a Fitbit or an Apple Watch and let this device sort of encourage you to get moving and
Yes.
to get out there.
It's so great. I am obsessed with my Apple Watch. I because it it
Fantastic. They are
it really,
fantastic.
yeah, it really does help, again, like, it keeps you accountable. It'll tell you when you need to stand up because you've been sitting for too long.
That's right.
Like, you can track your steps. But on top of that too, I've found that it helps keep me from looking at my phone all the time, because I can do a quick, like, I turned off all notifications for all the apps on my watch. And so it's
Love
just,
that.
am I getting a phone call? Am I getting a text message? And I can look really quick. It's not
Okay.
important right
I'm the
now.
same. Yeah.
And
And I think we need to discuss that as well in the sense of these days, a lot of the time I do have my phone on Do Not Disturb like now,
mhm,
but we need to make people realize that it's okay to not reply then and there. I
yes,
think um, take time for you. If you're at the gym, disconnect. If you're out with friends, disconnect. Put the phone down. You
yes,
like engage with that person. And I'm finding a lot of people are becoming angry towards other people who are taking too long to reply, or it's not, the
Mm,
click of a fingers and they've got a reply from you. And I think we need to try and change that. And I think right now I'm just trying to create some awareness behind that. Like,
of course.
you
I
know,
think that's so
I'm not
important.
so important for our mental health, and just let us live life.
Yes.
Sometimes I do leave the car in the phone. I do go for a walk down the beach, and I don't have my phone on me. And do you know what? It's like a breath of fresh air. Like, I feel like a weight is off my shoulders for the time that I am disconnected from my phone.
Yes. Yeah.
But and I'm reading online as well. A lot of people are struggling with putting their phone down, with turning their phone off at night. It is
Hmm.
like a 24/7. I'm going to call it an illness. And
It really is.
yeah, I just want people to try and just take some time to step back and put the phone down, and just live life. Take it in,
Yes.
enjoy, look what's around you, enjoy the people you're surrounding yourself with. And especially the youngsters these days. I've done a lot of work with these teenage girls, and they cannot put their phones down.
Oh, yeah.
And
My son's
I
the
just
same
really,
way.
I just want to encourage people to understand it's okay to put your phone down, and it's okay to not reply to someone straight away. If it
I feel
takes
like
you a
that
couple
was
of
the
hours to get
original
back to them.
purpose of texting, right? Like, I think that people forget that, but the purpose, to me at least,
You okay?
I lost my headphones, my hair. Oh, I got tangled in it. Um, the original purpose, I think, of texting and the way that I like to use texting is specifically so that people can answer whenever they get to it.
That's right.
So, like, if
That's
it's something important, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call you.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, it's like, so many people are like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't reply, whatever. And it's like, it's okay. You're at work or whatever. I had a second, but you might not have a second, which is why I texted you.
Yeah. And it just needs to be okay. It needs
Hmm.
to be
Yeah.
okay. Like, we're busy, we're living life, we are trying to, pay our bills, be productive, look after our mental health, take time for self-care. I'll get back to you when I can, and I
Yeah.
don't need to apologize about it.
Exactly.
And even if it's just you want to switch off the phone and do a meditation, or go for a walk, do not feel guilty about that. And
Or you just want to shut your phone off and do nothing.
yep.
Like, you don't even need an excuse. Like, you can sit on your
100%.
couch if that's what you need to do and just shut your phone off and have some you time. Like,
Yeah.
in a little bit, I mean, I have kids, so I have to, I try to keep it on, but like, they're with their dad. And
Yeah.
so I know that they're safe. And so I try not to worry too much. It's hard because I'm their mother, of course. But like,
Of course.
um, I am going to be able to just sit and enjoy the quiet, which I don't ever get.
Find
And
stillness.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
And you
draw in a
need to
little
do
bit.
that as a
Like,
full-time mom. You're working full-time, you're being a mom full-time, you're providing. Like, when is that time for you to switch off?
yeah,
And it's so important, and it's something that I'm doing a lot more of recently, because I've realized that my phone sometimes it gives me anxiety.
yes,
It's I've got a lot going on. I'm running a not-for-profit organization. I've got a boxing career. I've got sponsors that I need to talk to. I've got recoveries. I've got a lot going on. You've got friendship circles. You've got family over in the UK that are on a completely different
hmm,
time zone. The phone
yeah,
doesn't stop. It does
yeah,
not stop. And I think you have to be the person that says, right, I'm going to step away for a few hours, and I'm going to focus on me for a little while. And that is totally okay.
yeah, absolutely. No matter what you have going on. I mean, sometimes, like, yeah, I'm a mom and whatever. I have a lot going on. Everybody has a lot going on, and
Yep.
so like we need to be easier on ourselves. I think, especially as women, I feel like we take on so much and feel such a responsibility to people because of how we're socialized to like be a caretaker in some way, or like be of
Yeah.
service to people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, especially as a mum.
Yeah. Like it feels like I have a responsibility to people, other than even my people, the ones that I made.
Yep.
And and so it is really, really difficult to cut myself some slack, and I know that that's something that a lot of people, man or woman, can relate to, that, cut yourself some slack. You don't have to always be doing something. Sometimes it's okay to leave some dishes in the sink for a little bit if you are feeling overwhelmed, or whatever the case is. I mean, last night I cleaned up my house for a little while the kids weren't here. And then I was like, you know what? My house is not completely clean yet, but I made a lot of progress, and I'm going to go hang out with my friends now because I need that right now. And
We all do. Yeah.
my house is still here.
Yep.
I I can still
That's what
clean
it's
it.
all about, you know. That's exactly what it's all about. And anyone listening, just make sure that you take that time for yourself. It's extremely important. And the stats, it's all over the internet, it's all over everywhere. The rise of mental health is uncontrollable, and
Yeah,
it's crazy at the moment. Let's try and bring that down a little bit. Find time for
yeah.
self-care, do things that you enjoy doing, and put you first.
Yeah. Definitely you first, and to connect, those face-to-face connections. It's so important. I mean, again, last night was a great example of that. I just I found myself for the first time in a long time just kind of going and meeting people, and like I mingling, and I had so many nice conversations with complete strangers just by being open. And I guess, like, when somebody would say, usually people notice my glasses. It's always a conversation starter because I always have sunglasses.
Love that.
and and so I'll be like, oh, thank you, and then I'll start talking to them about, like, I was talking to a woman about football. My son loves American football, and he wants to play professionally. So that's his passion, and so we just started talking about that because he's a mom. And then another guy, he was talking about his divorce and what he learned, and, like, it was just so cool to just talk to people about life.
Absolutely. I had
Yeah.
a very similar experience. Literally, like 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend and I just went to the pub to just grab some food.
Mm.
And there was a big group, mixed group of people from the country. And they said, "Hi, don't mind if we come down, have a chat." We were sharing like a long table. There was a sort of like a group of people at the end, and we were kind of in the corner on our own. And in the beginning, it was a bit like, this is strange. These people are just so friendly and want to sit down with us. And in Sydney, it's not something that happens at all.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is very to themselves. They're
Mm.
shielded. They don't want to, interact. Even just being like, "Good morning, have a great day," or that's a little bit like, woo, overwhelming to Sydney. A lot of Sydneysiders.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah, it
That's
is.
so
It's
odd.
sad, but it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this big group came and spoke with us, and they said, "I hope you don't mind us, gate crashing and sitting down. We're from the country, and we've realised, being in Sydney City, we were in Bondi, um, no one talks to each other." And I was like, "I'm originally from the UK, so I can talk to anyone and everyone. That's just what we do as Brits." I said, "But it is a little bit like that, in Sydney, and especially in certain areas as well, where it's just, I guess, in their eyes, wrong to go and speak to someone while they're with their friend or if they're on their own." And
Right.
it was the most beautiful, refreshing moment just hanging out with these people from the country. We spoke about
Yeah.
anything and everything. They were super chill. And yeah, it was just great. And at the end of it, I was like, "Hey, let's exchange details. Like, I absolutely love your energy. And, I want more of this in my life. I'm all about making connections and meeting people and putting smiles on people's faces. And I absolutely love that you just came up to us randomly and just sat down and had a conversation and then said, all right, enjoy the rest of your time. And that's how it used to be. That
Yes,
is how
exactly.
life used to be.
It's so great to, it's like,
So
it
great.
reminds you, oh, it's like a breath
It
of
was
fresh
literally
air.
just like that, Tara. Like
Yeah,
it was,
yeah,
I walked away and I just was like, that was awesome. Like
yeah.
more people need to just have that courage to just go, hey, do you mind if we join? Like, let's have a quick chit chat. It doesn't have to be all night, but let's have a few laughs, put a smile on each other's face, and then, you go your way in life and I'll go mine. And one day we may cross paths again. And
Yep,
that's what being a human being is all about,
exactly.
just
That
interaction,
connection. Yep.
connection, laughing, smiling, not having fun, and not taking life too seriously.
Yes, yes, definitely that. That's also
Yeah.
another thing that, and that's probably maybe why a lot of people don't talk to each other, because they're so caught up in, I have to go do this, I have to do this, or I have to be here, or, the wheels are always turning. And
Mm.
I think that sometimes people are so caught off guard by somebody just being kind to them. And it's so simple. It's the simplest thing. I have a great day, or whatever. And that little bit, it to see the look on people's faces when they're kind of like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
They're
Even
like
little,
very taken aback.
even
Yeah.
definitely, and little things such as like holding the door open for people,
Mhm.
or holding the lift so that the family can come in with the pushchair, or
Mhm.
like that is people are shocked by that these days,
Yes. Yeah.
and saying good morning or have a great day, or everyone is so kind of wrapped up in their phones, um, that they actually don't look at what's going on around them, or if there is someone behind and you need to hold the door open for them, or there is a couple coming through and they're probably going to want to get in the same lift as you, and let's just
Right.
take an extra second, hold the door and see where they want to go, so
Yeah. Exactly.
it's really sad, and I'm trying to make such a conscious effort of these little things now, rather than just plugged in and head down, phone in the
Yeah.
iPhone, head in the iPhone or whatever phone you may have. But
Right.
I was definitely someone who was guilty of doing that. Didn't
Mhm.
want to, sort of share my energy with anyone. But now I'm loving sharing my energy with people,
Yeah.
and
And it's
I'm really
wonderful.
making an effort of saying, good morning, have a great day, where are you
Mhm.
off to this morning? And it's funny, there's a radio station over here, and two of the guys on the radio station were doing something not too long ago where they were going out doing like a little road trip and trying to
Yeah.
get people to wave or thank you on the road, because you know how a lot of people would be like thank you, or yep, after you can go into the
Mhm.
traffic. Now everyone's just in a rush, everyone wants to get somewhere as quick as possible,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's the same in America, but in
Oh, yes.
Sydney everyone is beeping their horns the second the light goes green. Beep! And it
Yeah.
is, oh gosh, just no wonder we're all struggling with mental health. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that gives me severe anxiety. It's like, okay, especially if you're driving a manual car these days, you got to put the clutch down, put the
Yeah.
car into gear. It's going to take me a second. Just give me a second, guys.
Right, right. No kidding. I mean, I had somebody parked in front of my driveway, like blocked me in, and I like went over to him and I said, "Hey, I need to pull out of my driveway." And I I feel like he said something. I just remember being like, "Oh my gosh, I just asked you to please not park in front of my driveway so I can drive my kids to school." And I feel like he told me to fuck off or something. I was like, "What?" Yeah.
What is wrong with
It
people at
it
times?
ruined my
Seriously.
day. It ruined my day. Like it hurt me so I didn't I'm such a sensitive person, but like it really hurt me because I was like, what did I do to deserve that?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
um
And
yeah.
it's all about how you start your day. For me, it's
Mhm.
about starting my day, the right way. And you don't want to be starting the day feeling, with someone
Mm-mm.
telling you to F off or get off
Yeah.
of the driveway, or, like, let me live my life and let me
Yeah.
walk out the door. I had a little thing on a little sticker thing. It was like a motivational, inspirational card that said, I stuck it on my door. When you leave the house, make sure you give at least one person a compliment today. And that
Oh,
was kind of what started to encourage the whole, holding doors open for people, asking how
yeah.
they are, how they're going, and interacting with people, because it's so true. Like, people hardly compliment each other these days.
Mm-hmm.
People, I just think the key message today is take time for yourself, get your head out of your phone for a little while, be okay with not replying to someone straight
Yeah.
away, and, interact, eat well, try your best to work on your own mental health. And if you do need that help and support, then there are services out there that can help you get on the right path. And yeah, I mean, like, that's what I'm all about at the moment. And give someone a compliment.
Seriously, it's so easy.
It's so easy.
I look at people's shoes all the time because I love shoes. And so um I always catch people with cool shoes or fun shoes. And so just compliment somebody's shoes or their skirt or their
Yep,
glasses, like
absolutely.
the little things. Um
100%. I couldn't agree more. And do you know what? It makes you feel good. If you
yeah.
generally like that person's shoes or their glasses, and you say, hey,
Hmm.
I just want to take a second to say those glasses are absolutely rocking. Like how you
Yeah.
said everyone comes up to you, it's a massive conversation starter.
Yeah,
How good
yeah.
is that?
Yeah, it's really nice because again, it almost forces me to get into those human connections, and instead of just being like, "Oh, thanks," it's like, "Oh, thank you." Like I think that people see my face light up
Yep,
because I really genuinely appreciate it, and then it just we just keep talking, and it's nice. It's really
it's
nice.
great. And you never know who you're talking to, right? You
Yeah.
never know. And so many people have so many incredible stories. And it is about, engaging and interacting with that person. And maybe they are a bit introverted. So if you can make that first move and
Hmm.
compliment their hair or their glasses or whatever it may be, you never know what door that's going to open for you.
Yeah, it's true. And like you also never know what that person is going through privately.
Absolutely.
And that little
Absolutely.
bit of human interaction and kindness might, I mean, it could potentially change the whole trajectory of their
Mm.
day or week or month. It can sometimes that can make an enormous impact.
You're
So
so right. Yeah,
it's
you're so
so,
right.
so important and so easy.
So easy. Guys, get talking.
Yeah. So I want to hear a little bit about how, because we didn't even talk about this at all, this time about your boxing career, because this is such a great story.
Oh, okay. Yep, no worries. So random, isn't it? Yeah,
Well, what were you doing
let's
before boxing?
so before boxing, back in the UK and over in Sydney, well, in the UK, I was actually doing hairdressing.
Yeah.
I'd done that for many, many years, but I was working at Tony and Guy. So Tony and Guy sort of all about fashion, and I was going into London a lot. We worked a lot with sort of, the catwalk models and the hair models and
Hmm.
stuff like that. I would definitely say I'm a very creative person.
Yeah.
Academically, this is something that I don't, excel in. I'm creativity is my thing, but I'm definitely trying to work harder on being more academic and educating myself better.
Hmm.
But I've just got a natural flair for, fashion and hair, and that was sort of
I
everything that
love
I
that.
loved back
Yeah.
then. So that was kind of the progression that got me into modeling, was through the hairdressing, working with the models, going into London, doing the shoots, a lot of stuff like that.
Hmm.
Then I always wanted to be a model. I said that to my parents, and they said, right, you've got to finish your hairdressing career. Once you've finished that, you can do whatever you want to do. Then I got an agent in London, started doing some modeling stuff. fell in love, came over to Australia. Was still doing some modeling. Well, I was doing a bit of modeling over here. I was also doing some promotional work. And then I got into personal training. That's something that I've been doing for many moons now. Absolutely
Okay.
love it. And yeah, and then what I did from there was I got into recruitment for a little while as well. So I was currently working in recruitment before I got into boxing. But along my whole work, or my whole life, I suppose, I've always done and loved fitness.
Mhm.
Hence, obviously, being a personal trainer.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely loved fitness. My dad put me into martial arts at the age of 8. I was definitely a tomboy growing up, so um, I'm used to, I don't know, I'm used to just training and moving my body and
Right.
exercising, and that was ingrained in me from a very young age. And when I was working in recruitment, I at the time was training at Legends Gym in Kensington. I fell in love with Muay Thai, and I ended up going over to Thailand, and I trained at AKA over there. I did a Muay Thai camp, came back,
Cool.
trained more at Legends, and absolutely loved it. And I did this
Yeah.
with my partner at the time.
Mhm.
And then obviously we get to sort of 2020 when I guess life got tipped completely upside down. And I was like, I'm going to still train at the same gym, but I'm going to try boxing.
Mhm.
And this was when my mental health was at an all-time low. That was what sort of encouraged the change as well. And I said to myself, I need to get myself back to the gym for my mental health to get better. I knew I needed to move my body, I needed to interact, I needed to, get the heart rate up, get the good endorphins running through my
Yeah.
body. This is what I needed to do. So I decided I'm going to go and try boxing. It was literally just that was how boxing came about. And then
That's great.
it's so random, and this is what I
Yeah.
mean. Like you just
Yeah.
don't know where you're going to end up in life, and
Mhm.
it is about the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And I started going to the boxing classes, but at the time, my mental health was so bad, I was constantly breaking down. I was
Mm.
crying, I was not eating, I was just not functioning. And the owner of the gym, Jesse Sanchez from Legends Gym in Kensington, he basically pulled me aside and had this conversation with me that was the conversation that changed my entire life. And he pretty much said to me, look, I know you're going through a really challenging, hard time.
Mhm.
Um, he said, but one, fitness is the best thing you can be doing right now. And
Yeah.
two, how about we find you a distraction from all the terrible things that are going on in your life? What if we were to put you into a 12-week fight camp, train you up over 12 weeks in boxing, and you have your first ever corporate fight um, as a boxer? And I never ever wanted to compete. I just used to
Mm.
train because I loved training. And there was something that Jesse said to me in that conversation that day where I was like, do you know what? I've lost everything right now. Let's just go and get punched in the face. Like, let's just do it. Like, and that was, I was so low and so depressed. And
Mhm.
I think I was actually just at a point where I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just get punched in the face and that will just, you know, help me figure it out. Like, I just was lost.
Mhm.
And it wasn't that at all. Like, that wasn't the outcome. The outcome was obviously absolutely amazing. But he was
Right.
right. I needed a distraction. I was broken. I'd lost love. And I started my 12-week boxing camp. And I fell in love with boxing. And I fell in love with the journey. And
Yeah.
through that 12 weeks, as every single week went by, I would look back and kind of reflect on how far I'd come.
Mhm.
And from day one to the end of week 12, I was a completely different person. And I obviously had some guidance from the universe, I would say, which put me in front of Jeff Fenech, and I got to train with the incredible four-time world champion Jeff Fenech, who
Yeah,
is
wow.
now my coach. And he did some training with me for my first preparation of obviously just the corporate contender fight. And he saw something in me that he said he's never ever seen in any other female. And I think I was so hungry for success.
Mhm.
And I just went above and beyond to just prove that I will not let you or anyone down or myself down. This is what
Yeah.
I want. This is what I love. And I will do absolutely anything to make it my full-time job. This is what makes me
Yeah.
happy. And this is like I've never even dreamed of becoming an athlete. It's something
Mhm.
that I would have probably dreamed of. I've always loved fitness, but I
Right.
think in all honesty, for myself, my self confidence is something that has always held me back. And I've
Mm.
never sort of felt as though I was good enough. And it took for me to lose everything,
Sweet.
including all of my self confidence, to be like, no,
Yeah.
do you know what? I
Yeah.
am good enough. I've just got
Mhm.
myself out of a hospital bed completely on my own. I've turned
Mhm.
my life around. I am good enough. I am going to prove myself. And Tara, that is what I did. I proved myself, and Jeff saw that, and he had no idea, previously what I was going through in life. He
Right.
had no idea about the struggles or everything. I just turned up and I worked. And after I had the corporate fight, um, he called me up and he just said, "Look, I've trained quite a lot of females." He said, "But you can't teach sort of that inner hunger. You can
Mhm.
technically teach someone how to box, how to slip, how to move their head, but you need to have that fire inside of you." And he said,
Yeah.
"And I've seen that in you, and you've kind of proven yourself. Would you consider, quitting your job, and I'll turn you into a professional athlete, and you become a professional boxer?"
So
And
incredible.
that was definitely a pinch myself moment. I remember I
Yeah.
got into my friend's car. I just started crying. And I think to me, that is like the definition of resilience is like I
Yes.
hit rock bottom. I was literally at the bottom and I have somehow bounced up. And, I'm 4 professional fights in. I've gone overseas internationally to fight. I've got a huge card event coming up. I'm the main event on the 24th of March. I'm fighting.
So exciting.
Like my life is completely turned around, Tara, and it is about resilience, it is about
Mm.
consistency, and it is about mindset. And
Yeah.
if you want something in life, anyone who's listening, you can have it. It's
Yep.
just how you action it, how you get to that point in your life. And it all comes from taking that first step, and it all comes from your mindset. You have
Yeah.
to program your mind to what you want, and you have to visualize yourself and see yourself getting there. And I
Yeah.
promise you, you will. And along the way, it's been 2 years for me. I've been a professional
Mhm.
boxer for 2 years. I've done so much in the 2 years, and I'm honestly so proud of how far I have come as a person.
You should
And
be. Amazing.
excuse me, yeah, and I just want to share this with these young women. Um, life is hard, but why make it harder? Like if we can all help uplift and support one another, um, we can all achieve our dreams at some point. And
Yeah.
do not be afraid to be vulnerable and share your stories. It's conversations like this that encourage us to want to strive further. And we all go through hardship, but maybe there's a reason that we go through this hardship, and it's how you
Absolutely.
overcome and come out the
Mhm.
other side.
Well, you find that
So
strength. That's really, you
that's
know,
right.
your story is, I mean, it's actually the physical embodiment of finding your strength in your case.
Literally.
but
It is.
but you did it with through like it was a healing process for you, and so that is so beautiful, and that's so important for us to, I think, emphasize, like finding that strength when you are so broken, finding something that you just there's something that everybody feels passionate about,
Mm,
or that makes you feel good, and that's that's what's going to change your life if you change your mindset to, no,
yeah,
I can do this, I'm going to do this, I'm strong. Think about all the stuff that you've been through, and turn that into fuel.
absolutely. And that's what I do. That is
Hmm.
what fuels me, Tara. It fuels me to just want to better myself as a person, to succeed in my career, to, the amount of time, energy, effort, and everything put it into starting this not-for-profit organization is
Yeah.
not easy, Tara, but it's so rewarding. And the work that I've done in the community with young females, and them kind of seeing me as a mentor, and it's beautiful, and it's something that money can't buy, and it's what I love doing. And if I can give back, then I can sleep well at night. So yeah, take the first step, guys. My advice would be to anyone who is struggling, take the first step. You have to just do it. Throw yourself in. It was like with
Yeah.
boxing. Um, you know, I was really scared to start with, and I was like, I'm weak, I'm vulnerable, my mental health is not good, I'm not sleeping, I'm not eating. How on earth am I going to have a fight? But over time, you you learn, you grow, you have to do something I think you love to succeed. If you want to succeed, you've got to do what you love, right? So don't let
That's why
anyone
I'm
tell
doing
you you
this.
can't. Exactly right. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something, because we are
Hmm.
all capable of doing something, and we are
Yeah.
all different human beings. We're all designed and created different. The world would be so boring if we were all the same.
Yeah.
So just take that first step to doing whatever it is you feel or want to do with life. And I'm the biggest advocate and believer that no risk, no reward.
Yes. I
So
love
take risks, take
I love
that first
that.
step,
Yes.
and
Thank
that
you
will
so
just put
much,
you on the
Kate.
right path. And surround yourself with good people.
Yes.
You become the 5 people you surround yourself with most. So choose your
Hmm.
friends wisely.
Yes, absolutely. You are such a beautiful human being. Really, like it's so refreshing to connect with somebody who cares so much about other people. Like,
Oh, you're the same, Tara. You're exactly
thank
the
you.
same.
Thank you. It's I feel like you're my Australian sister now. Well, I mean, yeah, because
Oh,
you're in Australia now, right?
absolutely. Yes. Sydney. I am in Sydney. And I definitely need to come over and see you. And I want you to show me New York, because I haven't been. And it is
Yeah.
definitely something that's on the bucket list. It is a place that
Okay,
I
good.
have wanted to go for a very long time. And obviously, having yourself so close,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get on the plane and come over, and you can
Fabulous.
show me everything that
I
New York
can't
has to offer.
wait.
Me too.
All right. Well, I let's wrap this up. I mean, I think that you left off with such powerful words. I just want to say thank you again for doing this, for sharing your story, for starting It's Her, and doing something so so needed for women and young girls. Um, Thank you.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you to everyone listening. And definitely reach out if you have a story, or if you are needing support in life. Please reach out, because we will try our best, both of us, to
Yes.
help put you on the right path and surround you with the right support. So have a great evening, sleep well, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
All right.
Don't forget to check the show notes.
That's where you will find the links for Kate's Instagram page and the It's Her Instagram page. So make sure you follow those. As always, I have to endorse my own Instagram page or promote my own Instagram page, I guess.
Or crazy.
Or crazy, yeah. My Instagram is at teatime.with.tara. What are you doing? Make sure that you like, subscribe, rate my show wherever you're listening or watching. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be making all of my episodes, video episodes from here on out. So you can check it out.
And I can play all of myself.
You can check it out. You'll also get notified when I'm going to be doing a live. What else? My Patreon, please, if you are able. The first level is $3. The second level is $5, $3 or $5 a month. It would be really helpful, honestly, so that I can get better equipment. I can potentially pay somebody to edit the episodes for me so that I can just keep generating more content. I would love to be able to start releasing episodes 2 times a week. Do you think that I should do episodes more than once a week?
No.
No? Why not?
Every day.
Oh! Let's not get carried away. Is it because you want your own show? Yeah. You have to say it because some people are only going to be listening. Do you want your own show?
I want my own show.
So,
And I want to play all by myself, but I want people to clean up my own room.
oh, you want you want people to clean your room?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
My whole room.
I would love to pay somebody to clean her room, but you know.
I'm a baby.
You're not a baby.
I am a baby.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Robbie, it's time to end this episode. So, what do I say? Do you remember what the name of my show is?
No. Daytime.
Tea Time with Tara.
Tea time with Tara.
So, thank you.
Thank you
For tuning in to...
for tuning in.
What's my show name again?
What's your show name
Thanks for
again?
tuning in to...
Thank you for tuning in to.
Great. That's awesome. Thanks for tuning in to Tea Time with Tara.
Thanks for tuning in to Tea Time with Tara.
Stay tuned and stay weird.